Hi, I'm Donna Colbert, the Co-Training Director of New England Dog Training Club in Cambridge, and welcome to your orientation video. You're watching this because you signed up for either puppy kindergarten or step 1. What we're going to go over briefly is what to expect when you come to the Armory on Thursday, what to bring, how we teach, and the best way that your dog can learn. We have over a dozen qualified trainers, most of us certified, and most of us have our own businesses in our own right. So we do specialty things like dog sports or aromatherapy or massage therapy, or some of us are vet techs or shelter workers. So you have lots of resources there at the club. So if you have any questions, please just ask. So first thing, some house rules about the Armory. You need to park in the parking lot in the back. Please leave room for people to go around, and note that there are dogs coming and going. We can have 40 dogs in the building and on any given night, all right? So just be wary of that. So you come in through the back door. We like to keep that door clear, so socializing should be done in the parking lot, not so much in the Armory. So if you have a puppy, your puppy can come in, go left. We have our own puppy room where we do lots of socialization and playing, so you have the time to do that. The first step 1 ring is the first ring, so that means you don't have to walk past all the other dogs. We have 3 rings in the Armory. Step 1 is usually the first ring. Step 2 and 3 are probably the middle ring, and competition ring is the last. And so we have all different levels there in the Armory. And the way the STEPS program works is, in puppy kindergarten, we need you to come to 6 puppy classes. That's fixed. You have 8 weeks to do 6 classes. If you bought some classes for step 1, whether you bought 6 or 10, again, we give you a few more weeks to do a few classes. So if you miss a class, you're not going to be very well behind, because the classes go at your pace. So everyone has a criteria for step 1. If you go through it in 1 night, you'll graduate to 2. If it takes you 10 nights, that's fine. So if you miss a few classes, it's not a big deal. Okay, some more house rules. So you've got the parking lot. You're going to keep the door clear. If your dog has an accident in the Armory, no problem. We have plenty of cleanup buckets. Someone will be around to hold your dog while you clean up, and we have special buckets to put the poop bags. If your dog goes outside the Armory, there are areas to do that. Be sure you pick the poop up and you can throw it in the dumpster. Again, the Army is letting us use their building, and they don't really like puppy poop on their property, so please, please, please pick it up. Okay, so again, the last thing I wanted to show you is our orange ribbon system. Orange ribbons on a dog leash or on a dog means you just need to give that dog a little space. Most of our trainers actually have orange ribbon dogs. Mine does. So whether that dog is not feeling well, just had surgery, or is a little fearful, just be sure the dog has a little space. So it'll look like this, orange ribbon. This is my leash with my dog. So my dog just needs a little space. He can work in a classroom along with everyone else, but he doesn't like it if a dog rushes up behind him, or even a person. And so orange ribbon dogs, you just walk on by them, okay? And if we give you an orange ribbon to put on your dog, it doesn't mean you have a bad dog. It just means we think you need a little more help and a little more space. We don't accept aggressive dogs in the Armory. The difference between an aggressive dog and a reactive dog that may need an orange ribbon is an aggressive dog, if you let them loose, they go attack another dog or somebody. A reactive dog is just fearful in the moment, and they just need a little more space. Okay, so those are the house rules. So what to bring on Thursday? So you need to bring your dog, obviously. You need to bring a regular collar, flat collar, martingale, that's fine, and a leash that fits well in your hand. Needs to be a flat leash. You can't have a retractable flexi leash. Those are no good. Those actually teach your dog to pull, and you have no real control over it. So whether you want a 4-foot or a 6-foot leash, that's fine. Just make sure it's comfortable in your hand. Now, If your dog really pulls on leash, we will suggest a harness. So something like, we really love the front clip harnesses. So we do sell these. These are sensations. So there is one ring. It goes on the chest instead of in the back. A traditional harness like this, which goes in the back, actually is just to keep your dog from having the pressure on the neck, which is fine. But again, you might not have all kinds of control. So if you have a small breed dog, back clip harness might be fine. If you're a real pulley dog, we're going to suggest a front clip harness. Also, face collars, absolutely, whether you have a halter or a gentilito, you can use those, but we don't accept a correction collars, choke chains, pinch collars, or electric collars in the armory. We train using positive reinforcement, and so we don't allow those in the armory. Okay, so you got your leash, your collar or harness, and now treats. So there are very different levels of treats at home. I'm sure your dog will do a great sit in your living room. But when you go outside and when you're surrounded by a bunch of other dogs, the distraction is great, and so you need something better. We're going to give you some of this great product called Red Barn. So, this is Red Barn, and this is what it looks like when it's cut up. And you can make it as small or as large as you like. Soft treats are better. You know, your dog may like, Cheerios. Your dog may like Cheerios or something in the house. But believe me, when you come to the armory and you're surrounded by other dogs, you need something really good. Also use cheese sticks. You know, just like humans, some dogs tolerate cheese sticks, some dogs don't. So something meaty. I would probably have 2 different sorts of treats. And we always have something to help you out with. The last thing is we're going to give you one of these aprons. You can use it or not, because a Ziploc bag is not going to work when you're doing training. So we give you these great aprons, because it's all about timing in dog training. And lastly, just dress comfortably. We know some of you are coming right from work, but if you've got some high heel stilettos on, you're going to need to put your sneakers on, okay? You are going to be on a gym floor, so high heels aren't going to work. Okay, so let me explain the level of treats here. So I'm going to have my dog come up here. This is Sammy. He loves his Red Barn. Huh. Yes, and he will do it down for it. Very good, honey. So you have low value treats. So in your house, I would suggest using the kibble as part of their training, as part of their meals. So I always say maybe 1/3 of their calories should probably come from your hand during the day. But again, we're going to save all those really good things for walks and when you go to places where there are distractions. Okay, so how we train. So we train using positive reinforcement, which means the dog does something right, they get a reward. Right now we're going to use food. There are some dogs that really aren't food motivated, believe it or not, so we'll use toys, or we'll find out what it is that they work for. Later on down the line, when you're more up in maybe step 2, step 3, maybe some real life rewards might come in, but for now, we're going to use some food, okay? And again, if you have a puppy or a young dog, if it's not fun, they're not going to do it, okay? We use the food. We're going to communicate. Number 1, we have to use some hand signals. Dog's first language is not the spoken word. It's body language, it's hand signals, things like that, okay? We're pairing it with the food. The first thing you want to do is establish what we call a marker word. A marker word is a single syllable word, either yes or good. And it happens the moment your dog does something right. So, if I ask Sammy to look at me, and I said, Sammy, yes. I waited till his gaze came up. Now, notice I didn't say Sammy, 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 because then I'd be wearing his name out. So, when you call your dog, you want to call your dog the first time. If he didn't look at me, I'd probably, Sammy, yes. Good job. Good job. So, the marker word is always followed by the reward, okay? That's why you need these treat bags, because you want to keep the timing very, very quick. So, There are 4 D's in dog training: difficulty, distraction, distance, and duration. So when you increase one, you have to decrease the other. So let's talk about a sit. So if you are asking your dog to sit in your living room for a piece of kibble, that's not hard. The difficulty is low, the distraction is low. If you're standing in front of them, the distance is low, and a sit is fairly short duration. But if you asked him to go in the middle of a dog park and asked him for a sit, again, distraction is high. Distance might be a little high. The difficulty is high. So you know what? The reward needs to be very high. All right, so that's where you would get out your cheese stick. So the most common phrase we hear in dog training is, really, my dog does it at home. And we completely believe you. But again, the distraction is high, and that's part of your training. Okay, so I'm going to do a few demos with Mr. Sammy on a couple of exercises we want you to do this week. Okay?
Action.
Okay, so now we're outside, so our difficulty is greater. Going to do the first one, which I did in the living room, but now we're going to try here outside. So it's the name game. The name game is the simplest thing that your dog will do. So it's simply saying your dog's name, and all we're asking for is a head turn. As soon as that head turns, we're going to say yes and treat. So, you want to walk around with me a minute? Come on. Sammy. Yes. Gonna walk. Sammy. Yes. Good. My treat is ready. Sniff on the ground. Sammy. Yes. Very good. So, if Sammy were not to turn his head, again, I would not repeat his name. I'd wait a minute, maybe do this. Sammy. Yes. Good. Sammy's done this a million times, so he's really good at it. The purpose of this is to really get your dog used to responding to his name. That name needs to be gold. If you're mad at your dog, you gotta give him a nickname, okay? So, whether Sammy's over here or way across the yard, I say Sammy, he's gonna turn his head. That is the very first step, attention work, to getting your dog to listen to you, okay? The next exercise is called the 2-treat game. Now, this works on what we call unprompted attention. Asking Sammy to turn his head, that's prompted attention. So unprompted is, I want to see what he does. I'm only going to call his name once. Sammy. He's already looking. Yes. I'm going to throw the treat on the ground to get him to look down. Don't worry, he'll find it. One more time, I'm going to yell, Sammy. Yes. I'm going to throw it the other way. Now I'm going to wait. Yes. He automatically looked up at me. That's what we call auto check-in. Yes. Yes. So, that's what we really want to build into our dogs, is automatic check-in. So, if you notice your dog, you're walking along and they're checking in with you like you're walking down the street together instead of this, you want to reward and praise your dog. One more exercise, especially for our puppy people, is the get it game. Again, we're going to throw some treats. So this teaches the beginning of a recall. So, Sammy, throw one out. That's why we've gone forward. We're going to call the dog back. Sammy, come. Again, he's sniffing. Didn't come. I'm going to put the treat under his nose. Treat and touch the collar. We'll do one more. Sammy, get it. Come. Yes, treat and touch the collar. Okay? That collar touch is really important, especially for your puppy folks here. We want to make sure we desensitize them to touching the collar. That can be done in your living room, you know, during commercial breaks, and that's pretty much how you want to train. 5 minutes, 5 times a day, very short spurts. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to email us. Everyone on staff is available via email through the website. And we'll see you on Thursday. Thank you.